On January 3rd, 2026, the United States carried out a large-scale military operation in Venezuela that culminated the capture of Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro and his wife Cilia Flores, who were reportedly flown out of the country and taken into U.S. custody to face federal criminal charges in New York, including alleged narcotics-related offenses. The strike, described by the U.S. officials as a precise action led by elite forces, involved explosions and targeted attacks in and around Caracas and represented a dramatic escalation in tensions between Washington and Caracas. The U.S. President Donald Trump announced that the U.S. would temporarily administer Venezuela while certain that the operation aimed to restore order and address alleged criminality. However, the intervention has drawn widespread international condemnation as a violation of Venezuelan sovereignty and international law, with governments and global institutions calling for respect for the UN Charter and legal reforms. The assault began under cover of darkness, around 2 a.m. local time, with more than 150 U.S. aircraft, including fighter jets, bombers, surveillance planes, drones, and helicopters, entering Venezuelan airspace. The U.S. forces first neutralized Venezuelan air defenses and struck key military installations around Caracas, like La Carlota Air Base and Fuerte Tiuna, to secure the skies and isolate the target area. Once the airbase was secure, special operations helicopters carrying elite units, reportedly included Delta Force and other special operations forces, flew at a low altitude into the city. They landed near Maduro's fortified location, isolated the compound, and captured Maduro and Flores, reportedly while they were still inside the residence. There was some exchange of gunfire with the Venezuelan forces, and at least one U.S. helicopter was hit, but the U.S. officials reported no fatalities among American troops. After their capture, Maduro and his wife were transported by helicopter to the U.S. Navy warship USS Iwo Jima in international waters in the Caribbean, where they were processed and then flown to the United States to face federal criminal charges, including narcoterrorism and drug trafficking. After the U.S. strikes and the reported capture of Maduro, Interior Minister and powerful Chavista leader Diosdado Cabello appeared publicly back in Venezuela, calling for calm and asserting that the government and security forces remain in control. He condemned the U.S. actions as a criminal attack and urged Venezuelans not to despair, positioning himself as part of the regime's effort to maintain authority amid the chaos. Cabello is still free inside the country. He's also wanted by the U.S. authorities on drug-related charges, with a large reward previously offered for information leading to his arrest. And Venezuela's defense minister, Vladimir Padrino Lopez, likewise, remained at large after the operation and made statements rejecting the U.S. intervention. Denouncing it as an assault on Venezuelan homeland, he's been leading the armed forces' defensive posture and calling for loyalty among military ranks. He continues to be the central figure in the state's response. Like Cabello, Padrino Lopez is also under U.S. sanctions and was previously subject to the U.S. reward for information leading to his capture, though he has not been detained following the U.S. raid. At this stage, neither Cabello or Padrino Lopez have been captured or removed from power, and they appear to be key leaders resisting the impact of the U.S. operation, even as political authority in Venezuela is deeply uncertain following Maduro's retention. Following this capture, the U.S. has stated that it will temporarily run Venezuela and may deploy civilian and military personnel for governance, law enforcement, and oil infrastructure management as part of stabilizing measures. How long this lasts and whether it shifts towards elections or local leadership is unclear. With that in mind, I think the most logical solution for the rest of the corrupt government officials, these being the already mentioned Diosdado Cabello, Delcy Rodriguez, and Padrino Lopez, would be to flee the country knowing that the U.S. is tired of talks and negotiations. But the question is, will the U.S. government really allow that? I mean, they already have spatial superiority, and I'm pretty sure that they already know where these individuals are located. Possibly, we could be seeing more U.S. attacks inside of Venezuela, or even better, we could see the Venezuelan military and officials capture these criminals themselves. Until then, the Venezuelan people cannot fully celebrate their freedom because sadly, capturing Maduro was just the first step of getting rid of the dictatorship. As a Venezuelan myself, seeing people all around the globe celebrating this event brings joy to my heart. The Chavista government has been ruining our country for more than 20 years now. And before today, I thought it was impossible to get rid of these parasites, but thankfully, the US government helped us to do that. And before I see in the comments people saying, oh, they're just gonna take your oil and leave you guys dry. Bro, what do you think this regime has been doing for more than 20 years now? Fun fact, we used to work with the US refinery companies before Chavez took over the country. We used to be the #1 oil producer in the world. So yeah, I don't mind the US coming to Venezuela. At least I would rather work with the US than Russia and China. Anyways, at least Maduro was looking drippy when he got captured. Bro didn't get the memo. We're now using quarter sips and matcha, bro. If you're Venezuelan and you're watching this video, I want to know your predictions of what's gonna happen during these next few days. And even if you're not Venezuelan but is really interested in the topic, I would like to know your opinion. So if you want to, you can leave it in the comments. I'll read them and I'll reply to you. And as of now, let's just wait for more news about this event, because I don't think this is just gonna end here. I think there will be more strikes. I think there will be more people captured. And I want to see the transition of power to Edmundo Gonzalez and Maria Corina, because I think they have a really, really important role in this whole operation. Thank you, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.